Wholeness, beautiful beings, welcome to my channel. Um, this message will be, I guess, pretty short. Um, so, you probably noticed I changed the name of this channel from Rashida Silvertree to Seeds of Silvertree. I want to emphasize that no matter what we may think or how we may think our words are, or how powerful we may think our words are, and our messages that we upload, that we share personally, publicly, digitally, they have an impact, right? And this is part of my service as a being having a human experience for humanity in a way. My messages are intentional, but they're also the intention behind my messages are like reminders, reminders of everything that we already know, that you already know. All that I share with you is nothing new, nothing deeply profound. It's just worded in differently, expressed differently, and experienced through different lenses. So the words or wisdom, if you want to call it, messages, intuition that I share with you all through this digital portal are seeds. And with every seed, there's a potential for it to remain stagnant, unused, discarded, inactive, or the seed holds a potential for growth, expansion, evolution, and, and just this pure potentiality, this space where you can explore beyond your limitations. It's like roots. Where does the root stop when a tree continues to grow? We never really know the power of the root. And it all starts from a little seed. And so with these daily reminders and messages that I share with you, I really want to make an effort to focus on the message, not how I look, not how I dress. I'm not dressing to impress you. I'm not trying to use, the state-of-the-art camera, the best microphone ever. I'm literally keeping it basic 101 for a very grounded reason. It's to stay grounded. It's to stay present. It's to keep it simple and let the messages carry themselves where they need to go, like seeds blowing in the wind, hoping to land, in fertile ground. I hope the messages that float to you, I hope they can find fertile ground, or may they find fertile ground in your mind, in your heart, in your body, in your reality as you see fit. I know I must practice discernment and when uploading certain things that I'm passionate about. Not everyone's going to be in agreement of the things that I am passionate about, and I expect that. That's an expectation. Actually, I don't. Or maybe not at all. I don't expect anything, really. I'm planting these seeds, and if these seeds take off and they inspire you to make moves, to explore your mind, your own heart, your own reality, great. Then my intention has been met. My intention has been manifested. If not, that's great too, but that's why I've changed it from myself to just seeds. I want to leave seeds behind when I depart from this body, when I leave this world, when I leave this reality, when I expand beyond the body, when I expand beyond my mind, expand beyond my illusions, my Maya, and enter into, spirit. When my purpose has been met in this life, in the many forms that it will come, I want to leave these seeds. And guess what? These seeds could go into obliteration, okay? Like my whole platform I could just decide one day, or source tells me, hey, take it all down. I take it all down. Or something happens to me and I leave the world and these things are left behind to inspire others. Who knows? It's going to be out of my scope. But there is power in the name. What's in a name? What's in a name? Names are very powerful. Names are labels. Names hold sigils and symbols and meaning and etymology. Names hold direction. Names are maps to understanding yourself. Many people will disregard their own birth name. Literally. They'll disregard their own birth name and they're metamorphosized. When people change their names, or names that are given to people, right, that are outside their maiden name or their birth name, it's because they've hit a mark in their life that is so profound that they want they want to be called what they felt and how they felt at that moment of deep change. So when they've, enter in that butterfly medicine of metamorphosis, and they reach that profound moment where they break out of that chrysalis, they break out of that shell into a new version of themselves. They want to be called that experience, and so people will change their names. But I notice many people will change their names multiple times. You evolve multiple times. You transition multiple times throughout your life. You break out of shells. You break out of paradigms. You break out of cycles. You break out of programs. You break out of trauma. You expand beyond a lot of limitations in your life through trial and error, through experience. And so I can understand when people want to change their names or come up with names to use a symbolic a metaphor, if you will, for that moment in time where they finally broke free from a limitation or a program. I feel very strongly about my first and last name. Or I'm sorry, my first and middle name. These are the names my mother gifted to me at my birth. She took her time. Like, I remember, because in my mother's side, books are a huge thing, and she would collect books. I mean, she was a librarian as well as an educator. And for a time as a child, she was working at a library, and we would just have access to all these books. But she would have grown-up books. And I remember rummaging through old pictures and photographs and photo albums and her books, her personal collection as a little girl. And I came upon these 99 Muslim names or something like that, or 100 or 700 names for Muslim babies, or for boys and girls. And I literally found the check mark that she made by my sister at the time, my sister and myself, when she chose my sisters and when she chose both of our names. I'm not going to share my sister's name because, again, boundaries. But my first and middle name is Nadja Rashida, and it means successfully guided on the righteous path, guided protection. And I've always, my first name, Al-Najah, meaning success. Like, I remember meeting my Arab friends in college, and they laughed or they chuckled like, your name's Najah? Your name's Najah? Najah? Wow. And and I, at that time, I knew the full meaning of my first name, Najah. Like, it's in American English, Najah, because don't get me started. Americans, we need to, like, really kind of vamp up our linguistic department, because I don't understand why like, in our culture, we don't push language. We don't push Russian. We don't push Chinese. We don't push Arabic. We don't push Spanish. The States is literally, it's a bilingual country, but it's not pushing Spanish in the schools. Anyway, but yeah, so I always loved I had to actually, well, no, there was a moment in time where I wanted to be something other than myself. I wanted to not be in this skin color and have my name. It sounded weird and people could never pronounce it right. And I learned over time to love and embrace my name. And the only problem I have is my last name. I never was fond of that type of lineage where, especially for Black Americans, we take on the last names of our slave owners. It always rubbed me the wrong way. I come from a proud family, a large family, but there's not a lot of pride in it, in the name, not my family, but in the name in itself and where it comes from. So my medicine name, my spirit name is Silvertree. And I think I'll keep that private for why and how that came to be. But, I have an affinity for nature anyway, if that's not obvious. But I think there's a lot of power in a name, and people that change, they, constantly change their name, every time they feel like they're going through a new portal and all that. It could be kind of confusing for many people sometimes, because names are powerful. They hold a frequency. And it's a spell. Every time someone calls out your name, Naja, Rashida, Bob, Steve, Beverly, Robert, Cordelia, David. That's your calling out. It's very like a godlike in a way. It's almost like for Muslims, they call it Allah, Allah, Allahu Akbar, when you call out. Or for Jesus, oh, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Or Yahweh, 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 Yeshua. Yeah, when we call out our names, there's a lot of power behind that, because when people are angry at you and they say and you can hear the tone, when you can know when the energy someone holds towards you, just based off how they speak your name. Listen to the tonality when someone speaks your name out, and you'll catch on to how they really feel sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes you can sense and feel their feelings towards you just by how they speak your name. So what's in a name? I mentioned power. I mentioned frequency. I mentioned metamorphosis. I'm constantly metamorphosizing, and I love that I choose to stick with my first and last name, the gifts of my mother. My mother gave me a gift with naming me what she named me. That is for sure. And because Rashida comes from Ya Rashid, is one of the 99 names of Allah, meaning Murshid, meaning teacher, guide, and listen, I'm not on here saying, oh, I'm a guru, follow me, spiritual teacher. Like, no. That's not what I'm saying. It could be where I'm being guided to go. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There are some things I'm happily just in flow with. I don't need to know. There's something that I don't need to know. I trust and I'm in flow and I go where I need to go. But yeah, so I wanted to share that with you. I think that's I wanted to really put emphasis on this, that this channel is not all about me, and you're not going to get the deep insides of my life. I'm not showing you my home. I'm not showing you how I sleep, what I wear, you know what I'm saying, my diet, like all these very personal things. That's just not in my heart to share. If anything, you can check out my music. You know, I don't mind sharing my music. I don't mind sharing what I create, but how I live and what I do in the privacy of my space, that's just for me and people that I allow into that space. But seeds of Silvertree are seeds of love, seeds of intention, seeds of will, because the consciousness, the spirit of a seed has to have the will and strength, right? It's fighting for survival. It's fighting to grow, to expand and break out, to germinate in that soil. And that's the power of the seed, right? So yeah, I want to definitely get deeper into tree medicine and, you know, and the spirit of things. I think that's very important. So with that, I am gonna head out, go home. Ooh, it was a long day today. I just feel so blessed and I feel good. Today was a hard day, a challenging day at work. Not hard, but challenging day at work. But we got through it. I got through it. I know where I'm headed. I feel confident in where I'm headed. I feel guided in where I'm headed. I trust in where I'm heading. I trust in myself. I trust in what I do. I trust in the Most High, which is Source, infinite intelligence, and womb of all creation, that is within all things, that is within all religions, that is within all paths, in shadow and dark and in light, in the deep crevices of the soil that holds the seeds, you know, that grow into beautiful trees, to the brightest day in the peak of a mountaintop, where no shadow can hide. See, I look at things, I don't look at the dark and shadowy things as something evil. It is just unknown to you and I. And the things that are brightest to us, sometimes we must use discernment and know what is real light, the light of truth, and false light. False light is very dangerous. It's very misleading. And I have been caught up. I have been a moth. That moth medicine is strong. That moth, the medicine of the moth spirit will teach you. Woo! It will definitely teach you discernment. Because that false light will mess you up. Happens to every poor moth that gets caught in that trap. Oh, what a pretty light! And they just keep buzzing and going higher and higher, and zap, and they're dead. You know. But anyway, I don't want to veer off too long. I don't want to make this video too long. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, what is in a name? What's in a name? And that is why I changed the name of my portal. It's more about all of us and less about myself. That's why I upload these videos and do what I do. That's it. It's not just me. It's not just me. I am having my personal experience, but I'm also part of something as well, and I honor that. Take care.